Hello students, have you all ever wondered why we human beings, despite having so many characteristics that are in common, also have certain characteristics that are unique to each one of us? This is true even in the case of identical twins. I'm not saying about the physical features that we have in common, but our behavioral characteristics. And if you attribute it to the functioning of a lobe, what do you think? Which lobe would be helping us to have a characteristics of our own? Yes, you guessed it right. It is a frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is the recently developed part of the human brain, and scientists have discovered that it plays a major role in all our behavior and also in managing most of our complex activities that are unique to human beings. Now, let us have a look at the structure of the frontal lobe. Now, this is the image of the three-dimensional view of frontal lobe, and you can see it occupies one-third of the head cerebral hemisphere, which means due to the large structure, it also means we have very different activities that are being managed by the frontal lobe. Now, let us have a look at each part of the frontal lobe. Now, frontal lobe lies anterior to the central sulcus. It is mainly divided into the motor area, the prefrontal area, premotor area, the prefrontal area. So, motor area, premotor area, the prefrontal area, and also the basomedial region of the frontal lobe. Now together, the basomedial area and the prefrontal area is also called as frontal regions, prefrontal regions. In addition to these regions, we have two specialized structures in the frontal lobe. One is the frontal eye field and another one is the Broca's area. Now the frontal eye field is situated here in a way that it occupies both the prefrontal region and the premotor region of the frontal lobe. And this is where the Broca's area is situated. Now, to give an understanding of what each area is going to do in our day-to-day activities, motor area is involved in the motor activities. The premotor area is concerned with the organization of motor movements. Prefrontal region is the planning area of our lobe, and the basomedial region is concerned with the state of alertness and arousal. Frontal eye field, look at the position. It can receive information from the planning area as well as the premotor area. What is the role of frontal eye field? It is concerned with the movement of our eyes, both voluntary movement and involuntary movement. It helps a lot in the visual scanning movement of our eyes for whatever stimulus we are receiving. This is responsible for our eye movement. Now, Broca's area, concerned with production of speech. So, whatever I am now being able to say is because of the involvement of the Broca's area. Now, frontal lobe is what make human beings unique, as I said earlier. Why is it so? It is the lobe that is concerned with the planning, judgment, problem solving, decision making ability, our thinking ability, and much of what contributes to our own personality. Which means, if something happens to the frontal lobe, our personality gets distorted. It contributes to the higher intellectual functioning of our day-to-day activities, higher complex activities in our abstract thinking, concrete thinking. So, what makes you an intelligent person? What makes you a distinct person in terms of how you speak, how you carry yourself, how your personality is seen as an outward appearance of yours and as well as inward. Outward appearance, I mean the social grace that you add to your personality It is all being contributed by our frontal lobe. Now, so definitely it is a major lobe contributing to our higher level of functioning. Now, we have seen that I said motor area is involved in motor activities. So even before you get involved in some motor activities, the frontal lobe knows what all things should be involved in that activity. The planning is being done by the frontal activity, and the premotor area makes sure that you engage in sufficient movement required for that particular activity. For example, you are trying to climb a stairs. The motor activity involved in that activity, motor activity is involved is entirely different when you are trying to walk or when you are running, when you are reading a book. The ability required by us is what our planning should be done is being done by the prefrontal region. And when you are writing an exam, you are prepared for the exam, but what all to write for a particular question, the planning takes place in the prefrontal region. So before the activity is actually perceived by us, some amount of action is taking place inside the brain which is not aware to us, which means the brain is already taken a decision as to what you should be doing. So a large majority of activities that we are doing, it occurs even before we actually carry it out. Few seconds before that, the brain has taken a decision as to what each individual should be doing. Now, if the frontal lobe is damaged, apart from these different functions that are getting affected, in addition to certain, there are certain functions which are solely seen only when the frontal lobe is damaged, certain disorders associated with the frontal lobe. The first one of it is confabulation. It is a term given for erroneous production of material by the person with frontal lobe damage upon being questioning. If you want put an apt word for confabulation in Malayalam, you can say pongacham parayuka. So person with a damage in frontal lobe tend to create a life that may not be actually true. So the person tends to confabulate events. So it can be either spontaneous or it can be momentary, which is either because you are questioning or the person can start on their own. Another problem that you see with frontal lobe damage is utilization behavior. What is it? Now we always use object based on their utility purpose. Here also the person will be using the object based on the utility purpose only, but then in an exaggerated form. Like for example, you are walking into the staff room or probably principal's office and you see a glass of water on principal's table. Now we know even if we are thirsty, we would not engage in the activity of taking that glass of water and drinking it because we know such a behavior is not acceptable. But a person with frontal lobe damage may end up doing in all those activities which is normally not expected of a person in a social platform. So, how does this happen in a normal person? Why we are restricting ourselves? Because we have wonderful, amazing ability by the frontal lobe known as inhibition. Inhibition in certain behavior, it is very good. We all know that how to behave in public, even if we get angry, how to express our language that we are not happy, but at the same time we are angry. But certain people end up using abusive languages. Why? Because they are not able to inhibit their impulses. How does this happen? The frontal lobe has rich connection with the limbic system, which is responsible for our emotions. So ultimately, now we are getting a connection, we are seeing a connection of the frontal lobe with emotion as well. So frontal lobe regulates much of our emotion. You must have all experienced that while you are watching a movie in a movie theater, the emotions that you express is entirely different when you watch the same movie along with the family members at home. Because these two platforms are different and you automatically tend to control your emotions. Now, another problem that you see with frontal lobe damage is your inability to utilize errors and normally we utilize errors so that we can improve ourselves. So when there is a frontal lobe damage, our self-critical faculty is lost. What is the self-critical faculty? We have an ability to look into our own actions and make an understanding whether this is true, whether I am doing the right thing or not. So this is one of the amazing ability that frontal lobe has given to human beings, self-critical faculty, which will be totally lost when the person has a frontal lobe damage. Now, generally, the dysfunctions associated with frontal lobe can be classified under frontal lobe syndrome. From the term syndrome itself, you must be knowing that it is a collection of symptoms that you are going to see. So, broadly, it can be classified into three sections: changes associated with personality and motivation, changes associated with intellectual functioning, and finally, frontal verbal adelemia. So, personality and motivational changes. Whenever there is a damage to frontal lobe, what personality you had before the accident or damage is going to change completely. A person could end up being more religious compared to the previous state. A person can show complete lack of concern for others and for himself. He can end up having apathy, losing interest in others, show no concern at all for any social grace. His behavior can be highly irritable, can end up using abusive languages, physical abuse, sexual deviations, and so on. Now, when it comes to motivation, it is generally reflected in behavior such as lack of initiation in any behavior, which means the person is totally disinterested in grooming himself, taking a bath, doing any activity, keeps on changing his plans, will not stick to a particular job that he is doing, and not interested. Even when we are doing a neuropsychological testing, the person would end up saying, I am not interested, and will not carry out further neuropsychological evaluations. Now, changes in intellectual functioning. This is reflected in most of the intellectual tests that we administer to the patient. Generally, maybe in a cost block design test, WAIS, Wechsler Adult Intelligence Test, when you do. Now, part of this behavior is contributed by the changes in personality. Because of his change in behavior, saying no to everything, showing irritable nature, it is very difficult to complete the testing on these particular people. So, because of that, intellectual functioning is also generally it declines, but in testing also it is very difficult to find out what exactly is the intellectual level of this person. And finally, coming to verbal adelemia, it is a condition wherein the person will not show any overt action. No talk, no communication with another person, even it is as if the person is awake with the eyes open, but actually no overt response. You must have seen a similar condition in a movie which help you to easily identify with this condition. In the movie Friends, where you can see the final stage where Jairam is shown as having no verbal reaction, no overt reaction. So that is a condition called verbal adelemia. These conditions are also seen in association with frontal lobe disorder, and along with that, you get to see all other functions which I described earlier in a patient with frontal lobe damage, depending upon the severity of damage a particular person has. Now, how can you assess frontal lobe functions using different tests? Now, there are a number of tests by which you can assess the higher executive functions of our lobe. Train making test, train A and train B. Stroop task is another test which help you to assess the higher intellectual abilities such as your ability to judge, your shift your attention from one task to another, your ability to inhibit one response and give out another response. So, and your ability to make mental flexibility, involved in mentally flexible activities. Other tests such as maze tests help in understanding whether you have an ability to learn things, to form a cognitive map, which all of you must be familiar. What is a cognitive map? The representation of world in our brain, the mental map that you create. So all these tests are really useful in understanding the functioning of frontal lobe. Now, why do we need to assess the function of frontal lobe? It is only when you get an understanding how much of ability is lost, only then we can provide adequate intervention for the patients. Now, how does a damage occur to the frontal lobe? It is usually seen that frontal lobe gets damaged in road traffic accidents due to acceleration and deceleration of the brain in a sudden jerky movement that occurs in accidents. So, it is situated in the forehead region, beneath the forehead. There you have your frontal lobe. It is very necessary to protect. Why? It contributes to the overall aspect of a human being, our personality, our language, the way you carry yourself. So a student of neuropsychology should definitely understand the importance of frontal lobe, understand the function, understand the structure, and also understand what all cognitive training can be given so that an individual with damage can help to regain some of the function, at least partly, so that the person can lead somewhat a better life.